Hello everyone and welcome to English Banisa. In today's video, we'll be exploring Lincoln's letter to George Latham. So Abraham Lincoln wrote this letter in July 1860 from Springfield to a young man named George Latham who had failed to secure admission to Harvard University. Letter reflects Lincoln's deep wisdom and compassionate nature, offering encouragement and motivation to someone who is facing personal disappointment. So, before moving further, let us know about the author, Abraham Lincoln. So, Abraham Lincoln was the 16th President of the United States and is remembered for his leadership during American Civil War and his efforts to abolish slavery. He is known for his deep wisdom, strong sense of justice, and compassion for all people. His speeches and writings continue to inspire generations. So now let's move further and see who is this George Latham. So George Latham was a friend of Abraham Lincoln's son, Robert Todd Lincoln. So this George Latham, he was a young student who aspired to enter Harvard University. Means he wanted to take admission, but he failed to secure admission. So when Latham faced this setback, Abraham Lincoln wrote him a letter in July 1860 offering encouragement and advice on perseverance. In the letter, Lincoln emphasizes that failure should not be discouraging and that success comes to those who keep trying. So, this letter remains an example of Lincoln's wisdom, empathy, and ability to inspire young people. Now, this George Latham, who later studied at Yale University, served in the Union Army during the Civil War and became a lawyer and public servant. His connection to Lincoln is remembered through this famous letter, which reflects Lincoln's belief in resilience and hard work. So, now let's begin the introduction to this letter. So, Lincoln begins the letter by acknowledging Latham's unsuccessful attempt at getting into Harvard. Recognizes that failure can be disheartening and cause feelings of discouragement. However, rather than dwelling on this setback, he immediately shifts the focus to how one should respond to failure. That means we should not sit with our setbacks. We have to think how we can overcome with these obstacles. So, here through this letter, Lincoln encourages and teaches the value of perseverance, and he also emphasizes that failure should not be a reason for despair. He reminds Latham that difficulties are a natural part of life and that many people face setbacks before achieving success. And he also reassures him that what matters most is how a person reacts to failure, whether they let it defeat them or use it as motivation to try again. And he also advises Latham to take this failure as a lesson, to persist in his efforts, and to work even harder to achieve his goal. He implies that success is not determined immediate results, but by one's resilience and determination. So now if we see in depth, so there is a philosophical reflection on success and failure, where Lincoln goes beyond simply offering encouragement, but he provides a deeper reflection on life struggles. He suggests that challenges are often temporary and that failure is not an indicator of one's worth or abilities. He reminds Latham and other young people that many great men have faced setbacks and hardship before ultimately succeeding. And he conveys the idea that failure can be an opportunity for growth and improvement. So he subtly implies that perseverance and continued efforts will eventually bring success, not just in securing admission to Harvard, but in any aspect of life. So Lincoln concludes the letter with warm, reassuring words where he expresses his confidence that Latham will eventually succeed if he remains determined. He encourages him not to give up and to maintain faith in his abilities. So, here the letter ends with a strong message of hope, resilience, and self belief, that reflecting Lincoln's belief in the power of perseverance and hard work. So, the theme means the key takeaways from the letters are failure is not the end. That means This means it is a temporary obstacle that should not discourage a person from continuing their efforts. Means if someone face failure, that means it is an opportunity to do something with more focus. And the second theme is perseverance leads to success. Is actually means one's continuous efforts and determination will eventually lead to achievement. And here we have another theme, that is success is built on struggles. We have many examples across the world that many great individuals they have faced difficulties before reaching their goals. And through this letter, Lincoln teaches us attitude matters. That means how one responds to failure is more important than the failure itself. That means our mindset is important. George Latham is not just a personal note, but a timeless message of resilience. His words serve as a source of inspiration for students, professionals, and anyone facing setbacks in life. The letter showcases Lincoln's compassion, wisdom, and leadership, reinforcing the idea that failures are stepping stone to success. And his advice is like to stay determined, keep working hard, and never lose hope remains relevant even today. So, in this letter, Lincoln expressed his empathy toward Latham's failure, reassuring him that setbacks are not a measure of one's true potential. He acknowledged that failure can be discouraging, but emphasized that it should not lead to despair. Instead, he urged Latham to use this failure as a stepping stone for future success. Means failure teaches us how we can work with more focus and achieve our goals. So, here through this letter, Lincoln suggested that persistence and determination are key to overcoming obstacles. He reminded Latham that great achievement often come after repeated efforts and that initial failures should not define one's journey, but by maintaining faith in oneself and continuing to work hard, success would eventually follow us. So here we come to know the fact that Lincoln did not provide a direct method of gaining admission to Harvard University. His suggestion to Latham was rooted in the principle of self improvement and perseverance. He advised Latham to continue working diligently, remain resilient, and not let temporary failures deter him. He implied that setbacks should be seen as learning experiences rather than a reason for giving up. He believed that personal growth, discipline, and unwavering determination would naturally lead to success, whether in securing admission to Harvard or achieving any other life goal. So this is all for today's video, Letter to George Latham by Abraham Lincoln. I hope it would be helpful for you. Stay tuned for more videos and thanks for watching.